Hello, champions. This is Kwanele Mlambisa, and this is Power and Impact. And the topic for this short talk is Assume Your Creative Space. So, this is my unsolicited advice to you, the listener. And now that you've decided to listen, I hope that you'll find it quite useful. And like any other advice you might have received before, you are allowed and welcome to take this one with a pinch of salt too. As I said in my previous videos, nothing is new under the sun. What has been will be again. What has been done will be done again. This is to say, you might have heard of this information before, but the fact that you are hearing it again here signals its importance. After all, we are all students of life and we learn every day. Now that we are clear on that one, let's get going. It is an important truth that all human beings, creatures like you and I, are part of this creation. And like anything created, humans too have specific attributes, abilities, qualities, skills, and potential by which to function. And again, as you may be aware, even though we are all humans, we kind of differ in terms of these skills, attributes, qualities, and our overall potential. We're like different fruits in the marketplace, different sizes, shapes, forms, and different tastes. Now, in my observation, no two human beings are the same. And this is why the very first command given to men was to be fruitful and to multiply. Now, if you listen carefully to this statement and think about a fruit and what a fruit is a living organism whose seed is in itself. So the Creator was very smart here to use fruit as an illustration of how we ought to be or become as human beings. Fruits have seeds inside, and we cannot be requested or commanded to be fruitful if the seeds were not planted within when we were created and put on this planet. I also hold that this command or this request, being the very first command given to man, signals that this is the most important for any person alive to strive for. To find your fruit and also to find your essence and harness it and serve it to the world. Now, a lot of people, including people I know personally, will say that, okay, we know that we should be using and expressing our gifts and talents, but we don't know what these are. And how do we find our essence? In other words, how do we find our creativity? Another way to ask this question is, how do I find myself and my true purpose? Well, I can accept that there may be a few people, very few by the way, who genuinely ask this question and with a legitimate concern to discover their true fruit and their true talent and purpose. However, I've come to learn that a lot of people, a lot of folks who ask this very same question do not really lack awareness of their true being and their true talent and fruits and their innate skills and passion, gifts and talents. What they are lacking is the courage to try these out. They lack the courage to face the uncertainties and criticisms and pressures that may come with such decisions of assuming their creative space. They have anxiety and fear of the ridicule that they will probably face from those around them. But ladies and gents, a quick glance at history reveals that the individuals who impacted their generation and affected their communities and the world dramatically were folks who, because of circumstances, pressure, or decision, challenged the tide of convention and stretched their boundaries, and also stretched the boundaries of tradition and violated the expectations of the norm. They understood that there is not so much to lose in this game of life, because anyway, all of us will die one day. And those people wanted to use their limited time to challenge themselves and serve their gifts to those around them. Of course, not everyone will make $1 million using their gifts and talents. But one thing for certain is a sense of fulfillment and a sense of compassion and passion to those who use their gifts and talents. Now, to those people who genuinely don't know how to find themselves and find their true magic, I would say the best way to go about this is understanding that your true purpose lies somewhere in the intersection of your passions, meaning the things you genuinely like to do, and your proficiency, things you're naturally good at. And these may be many for many people. This is why it is important for you to try out a few things and see what works for you and see what doesn't. I mean, you'll always get the right answers if you do this with the intention and purpose to discover yourself. Of course, what you do with those answers and your revelations is entirely up to you. You may want to use your unique gifts and talents as a building block to live a life of purpose and express yourself and see what comes with it. And as the great Dr. Golden Myron said, if you don't figure out what works for you, you'll be miserable your whole life and you don't